So this is 100% about to be one of the most controversial videos I've ever made, and most likely make a lot of you pretty mad in the comments. But today I want to take a look at what I think are the top 10 worst LEGO Star Wars remakes. They're really just sets that were a significant downgrade from their previous model. And starting off at the number 10 spot, I told you this list was going to be controversial, but I have 75020 Jabba's Sail Barge from 2013. And I personally think this set is insanely overrated, talking about the build itself, especially when you compare it to the 2006 model, which was $75, which adjusted for inflation in 2024 is about $117, having a bigger model and a Sarlacc pit and a desert skiff, compared to the 2013 one, which was $120 at the time, adjusted for inflation is about $160, with a smaller model and no side builds. And for some reason, people overhype this set like crazy. I'm pretty sure the only reason it gets so much attention is just because of Max Rebo. But I mean, if you look past that one figure, this set is not good, especially compared to the 2006 one. Yes, the model looks a bit better, but it's smaller and has no side builds. I mean, for $120 in 2013, this could have easily included a desert skiff and a Sarlacc pit. Anyways though, up next at the number 9 spot, I have 75362 Ahsoka Tano's T6 Jedi Shuttle. And for the most part, this set is actually pretty decent. I like the model, it's very compact and detailed. However, there's two things that make it a downgrade from the 2011 version, for me at least. One is the downsizing, specifically the cockpit area. And the old one, you could fit more than one minifigure in the cockpit, which actually looked pretty cool. But in this one, you can barely cram one figure in there. You have to like lean it back and make it slouch and stuff, and it just looks kind of awkward to me. However, the main reason I think it's a downgrade from the original is because of the underside of the ship. As you guys know, the model does have rotating wings, so they rotate around the cockpit, which is an awesome play feature. However, when you flip the wings over on the newer model, there's nothing on the bottom. It's just blank gray pieces compared to the older one, which had some detail with the extra red pieces. Now, don't get me wrong, the old one definitely didn't look perfect either, but it definitely looks a lot better than the newer model does. And I feel like this would have been just such an easy fix for LEGO, just to throw some extra dark red pieces on the bottom side to not make it look so bland, but they did not do that, and that's one of the reasons I consider it to be a downgrade along with the cockpit. Anyways though, continuing on to the number 8 spot, I have 75283 Armored Assault Tank from 2020, and I'm considering this a downgrade from the first Separatist AAT we got back in 2009. A lot of people like the dog on the 2015 episode 1 version, but I actually kind of like that model. Yes, it is downsized, but they got the proportions perfect and the detail on it is incredible. This 2021, on the other hand, compared to the 2009, is not very good. The main issue for me is just the proportions. I think the bottom area with the big round pieces is really small compared to the top area with the cannon. It's also lacking some detail in the middle area, and if you do want to compare it to the 2015 model, in my opinion, the 2015 one has better proportions, way better detail. It uses a lot of small pieces in this compact build, which just looks really nice. And then it gets even worse when you compare it to the 2009 model, which is arguably the best AAT LEGO has made. It's a massive and awesome playset with insane features, and it looks really well. The 2020 model just doesn't even come close. Anyways though, moving on to the number 7 spot, I have 75220 Sandcrawler from 2018, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, putting it at the number 7 spot might be a bit too harsh. However, I truly do think LEGO did not put as much effort into this set as they needed to, even compared to the 2005 model. I could compare to the 2014, however, that'd be a bit unfair because that's a massive UCS set, but what I'm getting at is the 2005 model obviously doesn't look as good. However, for the time period being 2005, I think LEGO put more effort into this set than they did in 2018 with the newer one. My main problem with it is that it was just pretty overpriced. $140 for this in 2018 was a bit of a reach. I think about $130 or $125 would have been better. And also, it's severely lacking in the minifigure lineup. It only includes 2 Jawas and 3 droids, and Luke Skywalker, no Uncle Owen. They definitely could have included an extra Jawa and a few more droids and Uncle Owen for that price. And when talking about the build, I think the proportions are kind of weird. It's a bit too short, making it kind of look like a scrunched up bulldog or something. It does have a decent interior though, that is pretty accessible. That's probably the main highlight of this set. But man, for $140 in 2018, you're only getting 6 minifigures and this inaccurate build. I just don't think it's very good compared to the 2005 and especially the 2014. Anyways though, up next at the number 6 spot, I have one of the most popular sets released in 2022, that being 75342 Republic Fighter Tank. The reason this set is so popular is because of those purple 187th Legion clone troopers, which is valid. I mean, those figures are awesome. They're some of the last good clone troopers LEGO has made, but the reason I put this set on the list is because of the fighter tank itself. Now, this might be controversial, but I actually think the 2017 Republic Fighter Tank is the best one they've made, with the 2008 model being right behind it, but this one, in terms of looks, is a significant downgrade from both of them. The 2008 one is just a massive playset with a lot of awesome features and just looks really cool. The 2017 one is extremely accurate, especially to what it looks like in Battlefront 2, and that's why I consider it to be the best, because its accuracy is literally just on point. This one, however, is just kind of ugly looking. It's not as big as the 2008 one. It's close to the size of the 2017 one, except what it's lacking is the detail that the 2017 one has. I mean, the sides of it just look very bland, how it just goes straight up in this sort of triangle shape. And not to mention the hatch on the front using the X-Wing windshield piece was just not a good design choice at all. I don't like how much it bulges out. It ruins the sleekness and ruins the look for me. So again, this build is just not good compared to the other two. But hey, on the bright side, at least we get some cool clone troopers. Anyways though, up next at the number 5 spot, I have 75205 Mos Eisley Cantina from 2018. And the reason this set made the list, one, was because it was kind of just unneeded. It came out only 4 years after the last playset Mos Eisley Cantina at the time period, which was 2014. And when you look at that 2014 model, you can tell it's just a lot better. There's so much more going on. There's a lot more minifigures, as well as Luke's lane speeder and a dewback. But in this one, they tried to scale it down and make it a $40 set, and I just don't think that was a good idea, because as you can see, it's just pretty much nothing compared to the one that came before it. The minifigures you do get are cool, especially that Sand Trooper. I think that's actually one of the best Stormtroopers ever made, but other than that, there's just not much going on. The build is tiny. You can't really do a great job at sort of recreating the cantina with this set, and on top of that, at the time, back in 2018, $40 was actually quite a lot for this set. I know in 2024, $40 for a set like this would be an absolute steal, but in 2018, it definitely was not. So again, I don't think the cantina was the right option to make for a $40 set, because it's super underwhelming compared to the 2014 one, and at the time, it was overpriced. Anyways though, up next at the number 4 spot, I have 75326 Boba Fett's Throne Room. And yeah, I know I might be reaching for putting this on this list, but I'm really just considering this to be a remake of Jabba's Palace, and it's not bad, but in my eyes, it's definitely a downgrade from the first one in 2012. And the reason is just because of their design choice. They went for this sort of stretched out, elongated, flat build, and it just doesn't really resemble Jabba's Palace as much as the 2012 one did, because the 2012 one is taller, it's more detailed on the outside, so it actually resembles Jabba's Palace when you turn it around, and it looks really good. It's a great display piece, and this one just does not have that same display value. They went with a different shape, and I just don't think it was the best move, so that's why I made this list. Now making our way into the last 3 sets, this is probably going to be the most controversial part of this video, where I'm probably going to annoy a lot of people, but at the number 3 spot, I have 75302 Imperial Shuttle from 2021, and literally the main reason I have it on this list is because of how downsized it is from the 2015 model. And I mean, that 2015 model is also just widely considered to be the best playset Imperial Shuttle by the community, so the bar was already set kind of high for a remake, although I think LEGO could have done better than what they did with this 2021 model. In my eyes, there was just no reason to try to downsize a ship like this. If they wanted a $70 set, they could have picked something else. The 2015 one was $100. I think this one could have easily been a $100 set and been roughly the same size. And on top of that, it only has 3 minifigures for $70. I mean, come on, this could have included a Stormtrooper or 2. So in my eyes, this was just the wrong set to try to downsize, and it really could have included some more minifigures. Anyways, now making our way into the number 2 spot, I have the TIE Fighter from 75393 TIE Fighter and X-Wing mashup from this year, 2024. And holy crap, excluding the 4+ TIE Fighter, this is probably the ugliest TIE Fighter LEGO has ever given us. I originally was going to include the 2021 downsized TIE Fighter on this list because I consider it to be kind of a downgrade from the 2018 one, which is pretty much perfect in my eyes and a lot of other people's eyes. But then I remembered this one that just came out this year, and it was like LEGO took the downsized 2021 one and then just made it ugly. They ruined the cockpit. The shaping is just really strange looking to me. And then on top, there's this sticker that's supposed to represent the top hatch, although it's like split in half, and it just looks really odd. It kind of just makes it look ugly. And then the worst thing about it is those massive green spring-loaded shooters right beside the cockpit that stick out the back. They just make this thing look horrendous. It's so ugly looking to me. I know the reason they did it is because of the mashup feature where you can switch the wings with the X-Wing and the TIE Fighter, and the X-Wing with the TIE Fighter wings needed to have some type of spring-loaded shooters, but I think they could have found a better way to do this because it just looks awful. Again, it was like they took the 2021 model, which was already kind of a downgrade, and they just made it worse. Anyways though, now making our way to the number 1 spot, I have 75312 Boba Fett's Starship from 2021. And right off the bat, I know a lot of people like this set, but in my opinion, it's absolute garbage, especially when you compare it to the 2019 20th anniversary model. I mean, that one is just near perfect for a playscale set, and then you had this one that came out 2 years later, and it's just so underwhelming compared to the 2019 one. And at the beginning of the video, I said that the sets on this list are sets that are just downgrades from the one that came before them, and I think this is the perfect example of that. You cannot sit here and tell me this is better than the 2019 one, and really the main reason it's so lackluster compared to it is just because of how small it is. Like, if you thought the Imperial Shuttle was downsized, get a load of this set, literally. Now, I will give it credit for being pretty detailed in some areas. There's a lot of small pieces packed into this thing, but I mean, other than that, this was just not the set to downsize. There was no reason to make the Slave one a $50 set. That's like trying to make a Star Destroyer like a $70 set. It would just be way too small, and that's why I think in my eyes, this is the worst remake LEGO has ever given us. Anyways, guys, that's gonna do it for this video. Let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. Get mad, say whatever you want. If you're new, please consider subscribing, and if you want to check out more of my videos, you see on the screen right now.